and the affair I was never supposed to see. My name is Adrian, and I learned the hard way that silence is rarely empty. It's filled with the things your partner isn't saying, the touches that have stopped coming, the shadows they carry home from elsewhere. I thought my wife's silence was just stress, fatigue, the slow erosion of comfort that comes with years together. I never thought it was another man. But then again, I never thought I would become someone else's secret either. Her name is Lila. We had been married almost 10 years, long enough for our friends to call us steady, long enough that I stopped questioning whether our vows meant anything beyond routine. We had our rituals, the way she always curled her feet under her on the couch, the way I brought her coffee in the mornings. For a long time, that felt like enough. But rituals can turn into camouflage, hiding what's been lost. Somewhere in that quiet, she slipped away. I first noticed the difference in her eyes. When she smiled, they no longer joined in. When she kissed me goodnight, her lips pressed like a formality. She began staying late at work, dressing with a care that hadn't been for me in years. I told myself it was in my head. I told myself jealousy was weakness. Then I saw her phone light up one night with a message she tried too quickly to hide. "Can't stop thinking about you." That was all it said. That was all it needed to say. I didn't confront her. Not then. Instead, I became an actor in my own home. I played the husband she expected, while inside I was unraveling. I watched her more closely, saw the way she laughed at her screen, the way she hummed after showers, the way her perfume lingered heavier than before. And I began to wonder if betrayal is contagious, if suspicion breeds a kind of hunger you can't put back in its cage. That's how I met Serena. She wasn't planned. She wasn't a weapon. She was a chance encounter at a client dinner, a woman with eyes that stayed too long on mine and a laugh that cracked something open in me. We talked longer than we should have, stayed after the others left, and when she touched my arm in parting, the electricity was undeniable. I went home to a wife who smelled like someone else's cologne, and all I could think of was Serena's hand on me. Our affair began like most do, small excuses, stolen hours, justifications whispered in the dark. But it became something more than revenge. With Serena, I felt alive again, raw and wanted, like my body had not been forgotten. She pulled me into herself with a hunger that mirrored my own, and every time I left her apartment I told myself it would be the last. Every time I went back. Meanwhile, Leela perfected her lies. She came home late, slipped into bed after midnight, and kissed me with lips that belonged to someone else. We were two mirrors facing each other, reflecting back endless copies of the same deceit. And yet, for all my anger, I couldn't let go of her. Betrayal isn't clean, it's sticky. It clings. The collision came one night when the lies could no longer live in separate rooms. I had taken Serena to a quiet restaurant, hidden enough to feel safe. We sat close, her fingers tracing mine, her laughter warming the air between us. And then I saw her, Leela, not alone, with him. They were seated across the room, their intimacy obvious, her smile softer than it had been for me in years. Our eyes met, and in that instant everything collapsed. Leela walked over, her lover at her side, his smirk dripping with arrogance. She leaned down, her voice low enough only I could hear. "So," she whispered, "we're even." Serena froze beside me, realization dawning on her face. The four of us stood there, a perfect symmetry of betrayal, bound together by secrets too heavy to carry alone. The ride home was suffocating. Leela and I didn't speak until the door closed behind us. Then the storm broke. We shouted, confessed, spit truths like venom. She admitted him. I admitted Serena. We stood raw, stripped of pretense, staring at each other as if we were strangers who had once shared a life. And then, inexplicably, she kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't love. It was violent, desperate, a collision of rage and desire. We tore at each other in bed, our bodies speaking the language our mouths had twisted into knives. Every kiss was punishment. Every touch was both plea and revenge. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was fire, and for one night, fire was enough. The morning after, nothing was solved. The silence was heavier, but it was no longer empty. We both knew. The masks had fallen, and in that knowledge, something darker bound us together. We didn't leave each other. Maybe out of fear. Maybe out of stubbornness. Maybe because the betrayals had welded us into something neither of us could undo. Now every day feels like a test. Every glance is a question. Every kiss a reminder. I think of Serena sometimes, the way she made me feel like I could still be wanted. I know Lila thinks of him, the way he gave her something I hadn't. We don't speak their names, but their ghosts share our bed. We touch each other anyway, because sometimes touching your enemy is the only way to remind yourself you're still alive. That's the truth of betrayal. It doesn't end love. It mutates it. It sharpens it. It makes desire burn hotter even as it destroys. Love and betrayal aren't opposites. They're twins feeding each other until you can't tell them apart. At night, when I lie awake listening to Leela's breathing, I wonder if she dreams of him while I dream of Serena. And I wonder if what keeps us together isn't loyalty at all, but the scars we've carved into each other. Scars that hurt, but scars that bind.